All right, so this should be up and running right now, I think. I hope. Let's just take a quick look here, see what we got going on. I don't know if there's anybody here, but if you are, welcome, welcome. I know that this live stream, it was not planned. I did not schedule it. I just kind of decided to jump in tonight when it's a little bit cooler in here so that I can show anyone who's interested this new 3D printer from WonderMaker. It's the WonderMaker ZR Ultra S. And it is a tool changer. So just want to see if some more folks start jumping on up in here that are interested in this printer, and I'll be able to tell you all about it. But this particular printer here is it is one that's had a journey, because WonderMaker initially launched this over on Kickstarter, and it is it is their third printer that they have come out with that is the result of that Kickstarter. And I'm just going to bring it up real quick so I can get a sense of like what people pledged in order to get this. But this particular printer had 1,114 backers back when this Kickstarter was live. And they were promoting both the WonderMaker ZR and the WonderMaker ZR Ultra. The regular Ultra they have listed here on Kickstarter for $699, apparently what people had paid for it. And then the WonderMaker ZR, the one that is not a tool changer, but is a single nozzle multicolor printer, was being sold for $449 over on Kickstarter. And then of course you have the Ultra S that was also a part of that as well. And see if I can find what the price was for the S for the Kickstarter special. Let's see, where's the S? Got late pledges. So I'm only seeing it for the ZR Ultra. I'm not seeing for the ZR Ultra S over on Kickstarter. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right, so just a bunch of late pledges. Well, at one point for the ZR Ultra S, the late pledge for this printer was $949 for a late pledge. But I have absolutely no idea how much this printer is going to be sold for now. From the best that I've been able to tell, they have finally started to ship these printers to the people who backed it, in addition to people like me who didn't back it, but I'm the YouTube person, so they sent it to me and some others as well. And it's not for sale on their website. I don't think that it's like officially available to just anyone who wants to buy it. I think they're just going to try to take care of the early backers first, which is great, which is what they should do. And then they'll be able to jump over to everybody else. So the thing about this printer that makes it unique, or at least makes it different than some of the other tool changes out there, whether it's the FlashForge Creator 5 or the 5 Pro, or even the SnapMaker U1, is that this printer is bigger than all of them as far as build volume goes. So this printer has a build volume of 300 millimeters by 270 by 290 millimeters. So it's a pretty decent size. It's also got a internal heated chamber. It's independently heated. It's not passive. It's an active heated chamber that can go up to 60 degrees Celsius. And it's got a HEPA 13 air filter in there. I am not sure yet how effective that is and if it's actually being put into practice when you're printing with things like ABS or ASA, for example, or if you want to do some type of carbon fiber. Is that filter actually going to be, filtrating those little fine particles, or if it's tied to another system that's going to make that kind of not something that it does. So we just have to check on that and see. what happens. Give me a minute here. I just want to check something real quick, make sure that the audio is decent. I think it is, but I'm just going to check my phone. Hello, testing. Are we good? Yeah, it is. Okay, awesome. All right. So yeah, it's got the integrated heated chamber. It's got the filter in there. I know that it looks just like the Creator 5, but there are some differences in those printers. Like for example, this printer is just solid all the way around, whereas the Creator 5, I'm looking at it, it's on the floor right there. It does have a back panel that is clear. You can look through the back panel. This one doesn't have any clear panels. It's just got that door in the front that's kind of, you know, that smoky kind of a color, but it's got this big WonderMaker logo right here on the right side that I'm sure that you cannot see. And another similarity between them is that they all have the 4 filament spools. They're loaded on the left side. And then they also have this, I want to say it's acrylic dome that you can put on top to try to keep that heat in. But unlike the Creator 5 version, this does not require any tools to put together. As far as this lid goes, it just sort of slides into each other until you can make the somewhat square shape and then just pop it on top. And as a result of that, the Creator 5's lid, it feels more sure of itself because you secure it with 4 screws, so it's not going to come apart. Whereas when this lid is put down, it still has a little bit of, it still feels kind of flimsy. It still feels like you can knock it out of position if you tried hard enough, which is, you know, kind of what I have probably done just now. So I'm going to have to move this around. There we go. So I finally got it situated again. And it's labeled for the left panels, the top panels, the left panels, the right panels, you know, all that good stuff. And as far as the tool head goes and how all of this comes together, it's actually pretty easy to assemble. It's not as easy to assemble as the FlashForge Creator 5 because that tool head assembly is pre-assembled right out of the box. Everything is connected. All you do is just put it in place and secure it with screws, 2 screws, and then just put the tool heads inside of their dock. This one works similarly, except you do have to connect all of the tubing, which is not difficult, you know. So you just have to connect the PTFE tubes to this, and then you connect the individual cables that go from the tool head over to the right side, which is where this filament module is located. I'm going to lower this bed a bit. So I'm going to go into the settings and I'm going to see if I can lower the bed or if I have to home it first. Looks like I don't have to home it. All right, so let's just go down. Might be able to see a little bit more of the tool heads. All right, and I can probably also just pop this lid off, set this down for a moment, able to see the tool heads maybe just a little bit better. So let me park this one tool head first. Let's see, we're gonna go to filament. This is the second tool head. So I'm just gonna say release. It's gonna put it back where it's supposed to be. You hear like a little latch is like locking or unlocking, and then it is completely free. I'm gonna go back to the settings, and then we can move this out the way. All right, so with these, it's just real easy, just like, you know, like the Creator or whatever. You can take these tool heads off of the dock, you know, just like this. You see that there's a place where you can just slot this in easily, slot the other one in easily. Boom, secure with magnets. You're good to go. You do that with all 4 of them. And even though my cable management is not the best, you just sort of route them over to this side, put them down in the appropriate spots, and then you are good to go. It's got an auxiliary fan on the inside. That's on the left. The actual heater is located on the back, and there's really nothing over on this side. I think the camera might be over there. But other than that, you are good. So I'm gonna pop this panel back over the top. Like I said, it's a little bit, this lid I'm not the biggest fan of because it is a bit fiddly. But this screen here is kind of cool. You know, it's a nice big screen. It can tilt up and down, and then it's also on a hinge, so you can give it just a little bit more articulation, not a whole lot of articulation, but you can give it a little bit. And it's got a USB port over on the side as well. So if you don't want to send your files over via USB and whatnot, you can just use the USB port. And I'm just kind of obsessed with this lid right now. I just want to see, like, do I have everything the way it should be? Okay, great. All right, so what else can I tell you about this? Oh, for the folks who are super into like open source stuff and Clipper and all that, this actually does run Clipper. And as far as I can tell, they don't really restrict you to it. So you get the IP address from this printer once you connect it to your network. And then you'll be able to type that into your browser or whatever. And then you'll be able to look at the Clipper interface. You'll see fluid. And then it's got all of those different attributes there that you can just mess around with if you want to. So that's great. Yeah, and this is only 4-color, but you know, that's not something to really knock it for, because the only other multi-tool head printer that you can actually buy and have right now that's more than 4 colors is what, the Prusa XL, and that's a lot more expensive and a lot more work to do. So I mean, we're just kind of starting this whole 4-tool head thing. So you know, that's how we're going to start with. I'm sure in the future folks are going to be doing more and more in clever ways so you can get more stuff, but right now, you know, 4 is going to be the standard. So I'm not gonna, definitely not gonna knock it for something like that. Let's see here. Also, I mean, if you're interested, if you never heard of this printer, but you're just kind of like, well, what is that? What can I learn more about it? I'm just going to pop it here inside of the chat, just the WonderMaker website for the Ultra S. So you can go there. Let me see if I can pin this. You can go there, you can learn more about it. There's also this Discord group that is active. So you can also check out the Discord, and all that stuff will be there for you. Any idea of the price of the Ultra S? No, I do not know. It is not available for sale on their website, WonderMaker's website, or I haven't seen it like on their like partner sites like Sainsmart or something like that, because this just going out to the folks who backed it on Kickstarter right now. I'm sure that it's going to be available soon for everybody else, because you know the company's got to get money, they got to keep running. But as of right now, I don't know what the price is going to be. They have not told me what the price is going to be, but you know, whenever I find out, I'll definitely let you know. And I am really planning on releasing just a regular video tomorrow that just kind of shows more about this printer in action in an edited form that's, you know, different from the live stream here. But one thing I did want to do, I did set up some sample prints that I wanted to get started on this, just so you guys can kind of just see it in action. And I can also talk about some pros and cons about this printer as well. So, you know, it is pretty heavy, but fortunately they do have these grooves at the bottom of it so that you can grab it from the bottom and just kind of lift it up. Maybe you'll have to get a friend to do it for you, because, you know, it's kind of wide back there. But I'm glad that they did include that, at least to make it a little bit easier for you to pick up. You know, the Snapmaker has always been kind of weird to pick up. It feels like wrong move and it's just going to fall to the ground. But if I can, I'm going to try to turn this. See if I can. So I want you to see the position of the filament. All right. So you see, this is where you load the filament is all on the side, and you see how it goes from the reels here through this WonderMaker filament module thingy and then over into the tool heads. But the whole thing is, if you look at the spacing of these spools, one thing that I do not like about this printer is just how close these spools are. They're very close. And since different spools can be different sizes, it could be a little bit, it's not difficult, but just a little bit frustrating to try to load filament, because if you can see here, I got this yellow going into like right here, but you see how much space I have to try to push this filament through? Like, I can't do it without the back of my hand also rubbing up against the spool that's next to it. Compared to the Creator 5, which it will be compared to, and that's why I keep bringing it up, the Creator 5 has much wider spacing of the filament, so it's easy to do it, especially with two hands. But this is just very close together, and it does not automatically feed the filament to the tool heads. It's a manual process, so you do have to keep pushing it up and pushing it up until it reaches the tool head. Hey, we got a comment here. Standard Orca slicer support, or do they fork it? Both. There's standard Orca slicer support. There is a profile for the ZR Ultra S and the regular Ultra in Orca Slicer. And then they also have a fork of that, which when you download it and run it, it's called WonderPrint. But I've also seen it on their website as being WonderMaker Orca. So I guess they changed the name. So it is a fork, but the regular Orca is there as well. But one thing I will tell you about the regular Orca, there seems to be, the default profile is for a 0.2 millimeter nozzle, even though these come shipped with 0.4 millimeter nozzles. And I've been looking, there's no drop down for me to choose which nozzle to actually use. So by default, they have it set up for 0.2, and you can go into the settings and the extruder settings and you can change all of that. But just as far as that profile just being there ready for you, for some reason it defaults to 0.2. But inside of the WonderPrint / WonderMaker Orca slicer, they actually have separate profiles for different nozzles. So hopefully they can get that updated so that you don't have to go through changing that yourself. So the video you did on the WonderMaker ZR a while back, was wondering if you use it anymore after that, and if so, do you have a ballpark of the hours I logged without any issues? After I did that review, I didn't really use the printer all that much, and that's because other printers just come in and then I spend more time with that. So if I can remember how many hours I had on the original ZR, I want to say maybe 400 hours on that printer is what I had on that. And in that time, whatever problems that I did have were documented in the video. But the WonderMaker ZR is currently sitting in a corner over there. And yeah, I really haven't used it after that. But yeah, these, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so for the filament, when you feed it, you have to feed it through the tubes until it gets to the tool head. But the tool head senses when that filament has reached a certain point, and then it automatically grabs it and pulls it in a little bit. So that's compared to the Creator 5 Pro, where you have to push it all the way to the tool head, then squeeze the filament cutter and push it in a little bit more. It does not auto detect, it doesn't sense the filament. You just have to push it to the point where it's going to take the filament when the time comes. But this actually detects the filament. And it's got these lights on top of the tool heads, whereas if it detected the filament and it pulls it in a little bit, the light will turn blue. And if there is no filament loaded and it can't detect anything, then the light will stay red. So right now, since I don't have any filament in spot number 2, the light on the tool head is red, whereas the other 3 are blue. So that's kind of cool. And when you want to unload the filament, it doesn't do a full retraction all the way back to the spool, or at least all the way to where the end of the filament tube is. It retracts it just a little bit. It has to heat up, and then it retracts it. It does not cut filament. All it does is heat it up, pulls it back a little bit, and then you have to manually wind it all the way back into the spool. And so it's similar to how SnapMaker does theirs. The tip of the filament will look a little bit swollen or whatever, you know, so you just cut that part off, but it does not leave a little bit of filament still inside of the tool head whenever you change the filaments. I thought this machine was dead and stinking. Yeah, people kind of lost faith in this printer because it was a communication. The communication was not great when WonderMaker was, you know, explaining what the delays were and when they were expecting to get these printers out. And then when that time came, the printers didn't go out. So people kept asking, and it was kind of like, what's going on here? You told us was going to be at this time, but now we're past that time and there's no, you know, but now it seems like that maybe they were just kind of keeping their heads down, like we need to hurry up and get this done. And when they finally got it done, then now we're seeing all of these posts from like the Discord and over on Facebook groups of people saying like, oh, I got my shipping information, or look what it was just delivered today, and all that stuff. And it's in the same box that I received mine's in. So they are going out. It is still alive, and you know, that's good. I don't want any company to fall on their face and fail. So, you know, it's good to see that they've are managing to keep their promise. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. It was a new company and they promised essentially three 3D printers, the ZR Ultra, and the ZR Ultra S, and they are being delivered. So that's great. It's really great. All right, so I want to load some filament because I do have a little test piece that I want to do so we can see this in action. And I got some pink filament here. Actually, I need to cut the tip off that. Just wanted to do a print that's not going to take long, so I figured I would do like a GTA 6 keychain that I found on Maker World. So I'm just going to cut that. And so now I have to take this, and they supply these little filament tubes right here for you to put in here. And then I just have to feed this through as soon as I can find the hole. All right, now I'm just going to wind it. It's easier to wind the filament that's on the bottom simply because you have more room. But, you know, it's still not the best way to do this, I feel. All right, so the printer detected it, it pulled it in, I felt it, and now the light on the back of that tool head is blue. I'm gonna turn this printer back around so you can see it from the front. All right, let's go. All right, is that good? Yeah, that's good. All right. Let me check out these comments real quick. Yeah, more companies and makes this better for us. I love that competition. You were backer number 18 and got yours around the 4th. The communication was horrible. Set yours up on TikTok live yesterday. Oh, awesome. All right, cool. So let's start this up. This also does have a chamber light, but the chamber light, it only illuminates basically the bed. So you probably can't even tell that a light has just come on. It's not, I wish that it was a brighter light, or at least more light, so that you can actually see inside of the chamber, but you can't really see inside of it. I mean, like the light is off, now it's on. You know, it's kind of dim. Is there like paper or plastic over this? Let me just double check, because I might be giving this a hard time when I don't need to. No, it's like a really thin LED strip. Yeah, just a thin LED. It's just not it's not illuminated very well. All right, anyway, let's start this off. First, I need to, I'm gonna just change the filament color that I have in here. So We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I changed the filament from number 2. So I'm just going to click on this. I had ABS in there before. So I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to do PLA. And this is going to be pink. Now, also, you don't need to purge the filament, like I said earlier, but should you choose to purge filament, you can go to load right here. So let's say I just want to load this pink PLA that I just put in here. And you can watch it do its thing as it starts to load. And kind of just like the Creator 5 Pro, when it purges the filament, it doesn't have anywhere else to go but straight down onto the very bottom of the print head. Now, we saw the problems that caused with the Creator 5 Pro, with the filament that used to purge right by the intake fan where the heater is. But this is different. So look at it. It's purging right there. You see it has nowhere to go. It's kind of like right in front of that fan, but nothing's been sucked in there, yet. But yeah, it's doing its thing. Is it done purging? I think it is. So this is all of the filament that it purged, but you don't have to purge the filament. That's just me just showing you what happens should you choose to. And this is just telling me to please check that the filament is installed in Extruder 2. It is. So like I said, you don't have to do that, but if you do, just know that it's just going to go straight down. But fortunately, it doesn't purge like all that much. If it does that, it tells you to clean the nozzle tip manually. And I don't know why it tells you to do that, because it does have a nozzle wiper on the back side of the printer that it does use when it wants to use it. So I don't know why you're leaving that up to me. But anyway, I'm going to go to print files. Well, actually, I might have to change out another filament. Yeah, I do. Because for this GTA, I need black, pink, and white. And I do not have white. How silly of me. I'm sorry. All right, so I got to unload this yellow and get the white started. I'm going to catch up with you guys while it does that. Downside is when it was first announced, it was a new hotness. Now they're late to the party. They are a little bit late, but they are not too late. I don't think that they are too late, because the Creator 5 Pro is like just getting to people, really. They're still shipping those out. So this could have come out before the Creator 5 Pro, which I think initially it was supposed to, but it didn't. So now it's a little bit behind, but I don't think that they are, I don't think they're too late, like how Elegoo is with the canvas. I mean, at this point, people want tool heads. They're not really interested in the single nozzle multicolor printing anymore. And the canvas and the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2 is not that old at this point. So they're behind. That's what I would consider behind. All right, so are we good? Has this been, yeah, filament's been unloaded. All right, so I'm gonna take this white out of here. Or take this yellow out of here so that I can add some white. I'm kind of looking around like, where is some white filament that I can grab that's not already in another printer? All right. The spool holders on these are very similar to SnapMaker spool holders. They look the same. But like I said, this does not do retraction. So like these don't snap back, but they do just kind of freely spin like that. All right, so I got to grab some white filament. I got some inside of the Creator 5 Pro, but give me a minute. I'm going to see if I got white filament somewhere else. So hopefully I won't have to take it out. Your white filament, where are you? All right, I could have sworn I had at least 2 reels of that. All right. All right, turns out that I don't have the white filament that's like kind of just laying around. So I've got to grab some from another printer. Unless this is white filament down here. What is this? Ooh, high-speed PLA white. All right, we're in business. Sweet. All right, so I got some Sunlu high-speed PLA white. Let's load this up. Stick that in there. Yeah, I should probably cut the tip off of this. Where are my cutters? Here they are. All right, up we go. See, and this is where the close proximity of these spools gets a little bit annoying to work with. All right, I believe it grabbed it. All right. All right, so now we should be good. So let me go to print files. I'm gonna go to this GTA print. Please match the filament cutter color. So black is going to be 3, pink is going to be 2, and white is going to be, well, shoot, I didn't even change the white, did I? No, I didn't. White is supposed to be 1. All right, so let's do that again. Are we good? White PLA, yeah. All right, 3rd time's a charm. We got black, pink, and white. Sweet. Got auto leveling and print. All right, we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully nothing breaks, but if it does, hey, whatever. That's what the live stream is for. Load it before mounting the spool. That's one way to do it. But I wish you wouldn't have to do that, you know? I don't know how much it is. Looks like a flash forged shell. It looks similar to the Creator 5, kind of like how the original WonderMaker ZR looked very similar to the 85X. It's using the nozzle wiper right now. But it's not like, you know how if you go on Amazon and you see like a whole bunch of dash cameras that have different company names, but they all are basically the same dash camera. This isn't like this, because even though externally they look similar, the dock, for example, the tool heads look completely different. This docks the tool heads on the back, whereas on the Creator 5, it docks it on the right side. If you're standing in front of the printer, it's docked on the right side. The lid is configured differently. The placement of the heated, of the internal heater, those are in different places. So like they're different enough, you know, so it's not like they're clones of each other, but they do look similar. And like I said before, this is also a lot more open. So if the closed nature of FlashForge's firmware is something that puts you off, this is open. So you got more ability to play around with things if you want. This also starts up a lot faster than the Creator 5 as far as when you want to get a print started. It's probably just heating the bed right now, but the leveling process is faster. It doesn't have to go through this unnecessary purge sequence like the Creator 5 does before every single print, whether you want it to or not. So you can get things started faster with this particular printer. Let's see. I could see tool heads on side and back for 8 colors. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, and see, the other thing about the Flash Forge is before the Creator 5, they were supposed to come out with the Guider 4 and the Guider 4 Pro. Those were not tool changers, which in retrospect, it was a good thing that they didn't come out with those because it would have been, you know, outdated by the time they come out because tool changers are what people want now. But the Guider 4 Pro did have a larger build volume. It was like 300 cubed, I believe. So I thought that the Creator 5 Pro would also have that same build area, but it does not. So people have been saying like in the videos about the Creator 5, like, oh, I wish it was 300. The build volume should have been bigger, should have been bigger. But this one is bigger. It's leveling right now. So that's good. We are almost there. I also want to run, I'm going to run some quick footage real quick while this does that. You see, I got these prints over here to my right. These are prints that I have printed so far on the ZR Ultra S. So I just want to show that to you real quick, like, so that you can see it. The first one is going to be for this Scrappy. This is the Scrappy Doo. Of course, from Scooby-Doo. I know Scrappy is not that brown, but that's the only color brown that I have. His head was in two pieces. That would explain like the sort of gap that you see on the back of his head. But this was printed on the ZR Ultra. The multicolor part came from his head. His head meaning his eyes and the black nose and the white of the eyes and the pink ears. That was all one piece done in multiple colors. So that's how that came up looking like. And now here is a look at a hue forge that I did. It's a hue forge of Goku punching the daylights out of Frieza right in the gut. I think this was 4 colors. Took about 4 hours or so, maybe a little bit more to print this. Next, I got this black suit Spider-Man. Now I know his positioning is a little suggestive, but he's supposed to go like on a wall where it looks like he's actually stuck to the wall. This was from Yosh Studios, who's doing like these really cool things when it comes to like comic book cards and stuff like that. And this is just one of them. So this was printed in like 5 pieces or whatever. So that's just a little sample of what I managed to do so far with this printer. And now I'm going to go back. So I know you guys can't see what it's doing on the inside, but I wonder, so I can kind of give you a better look at this. Oh, it does this thing. Check out. So that's the internal, that's the view from the internal camera through the fluid interface. Now, one thing I will say, it's pretty much impossible to see the first layer on smaller prints. You know, so you gotta kind of stick your head in there. Right now, I was doing a prime tower. That's how that's looking right here. All right, I'm gonna try to catch up on some of these comments. Thanks for, you might know I got sick, the 5 DX Flash Force from watching your videos on it. Thank you very much. All right, so now it's like it's doing the first layer. This print is not going to take long because I didn't want it to take very long. I don't want to take up too much of anybody's time. But this one should take, I think the slicer said it was going to take maybe like 20 minutes or something like that. It's already 11% complete. And And this is just really convenient because even though I'm in the WonderMaker Orca / WonderPrint slicer right now, you'll get the same interface even in Orca slicer or on your web browser or on your phone. So you can just change so many different attributes. I can change the bed temperature, which is sitting at 65 Celsius. I thought I changed the hot end temperature to be 220 because by default, WonderMaker has it set up to be 230. I never print PLA at 230 degrees, but whatever, we'll let it run. All right, now we're kicking on. It's a very happy Spider-Man. Oh, and there goes Scrappy. Scrappy is down. So if you see any rocking going on, that is the table. So the wobbly table trend of 3D printing YouTubers continues with me. And this doesn't have like those hula feet. So it doesn't rock back and forth like the Creator 5 does. I know that some people don't like that about it, but is it freeze? Looks like one, well, not the printer. The printer didn't freeze. I'm just looking at the slicer. Okay, it's going. It's going. All right, so that's still good. Let me move you back over so you can see it. I don't know why. It looks like it's frozen on my screen, but when I go to it, it's moving just fine. I don't know. And so it's doing that first layer of black. You know, it might be better if I went to maybe time lapse. Nope. Tune. Nope. Oh, that bed mesh. Jobs history. I thought that there was a place for me to look at the camera that had a higher FPS. Oh well. But this is around like 13, 14 FPS. I don't know. I guess it's just how my brain works. I want to take the filament and make sure it's secure in its place, freely rotating on the spool holder before I start, pulling the filament, pushing the filament in. It's worked for me. So I just continue to do it. But that does not change the fact that the spools are too close together on this printer. They are still too close. They should be further spread apart. And I'm sticking to it. That's my conviction. It does have a light inside, but it's a very faint light. It doesn't illuminate the entire chamber. So it's on right now. I'm going to turn it off so you can see what it looks like if it's turned off. And now it's on. Off. On. I wish the light were brighter or there were more of them. Because looking at it right here, I mean, it looks okay. But then again, I also have my own softbox light that's almost directly, shining on it. So it's giving it a little bit more light to deal with. But since I've only had this printer for maybe like 4 days, I haven't really dug too deep into it, like as far as the process of swapping out the hot end, if that's a simple process or if that's more involved, if there's any wires involved, or do you just have to maybe take out a couple screws and pull it out? You know, I'm not sure yet. But there is a wiki for WonderMaker, and I'm sure that that wiki is going to have all that information on there. This printer is also running, I want to say firmware 1.67, but if you go to the wiki page, there are two newer firmwares on there that added things such as adaptive bed leveling is one of them, but I have not been able to update this printer. I have not been able to do it. The over-the-air firmware updates are not working at the moment. It tells me I'm on the latest version, but when I manually put the firmware on a thumb drive and I put it in the printer, it starts to update it to 99%, and then it just stops at 99%. The screen is not frozen, the printer is not frozen, but the update will not complete. I let it go all night long. I let it go for like 8 hours, and it never completed. So I don't know what changes or how differently the printer behaves, or if the print quality has gotten better with the updates, because I just cannot update it. So I'll ask the WonderMaker folks about that and see if they have any answer for why that's the case. Let's see, how long WonderMaker been around? They have not been around for very long. The Kickstarter that they did to help fund the original ZR, I want to say probably like less than 2 years. Let me see if I find out for sure. Kickstarter WonderMaker. Woo! My table is shaking, isn't it? Let me see. Wish there was an easier way to see like when this campaign started, because I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. So I just had it. Where did it go? The funding period was from April 2nd, 2025 to May 7th, 2025. So it was a 35-day funding period. So at this point, a little over a year. A little over a year. Oh boy. I'm just gonna kind of peek in there, see if there's anything going on. Even if you guys could see the print, I mean, it's nothing but, you know, black. It's nothing but a little black rectangle. So there's really nothing to see here. But I'll switch back over. Better camera than the Creator 5 Pro. Yeah, that is for sure. I hear, though I cannot confirm, that the community they're like cracking the Creator 5, and one of the things that they've done is improve the FPS of the camera and also unlocking a slightly higher resolution than what it currently puts out. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen it for myself, but that is what the grapevine is telling me. But you should not have to, you know, hack the printer to unlock better quality from the camera. That's for darn sure. So the Flash Forge camera just serves its purpose of just letting you look at it to see if your print has failed. But other than that, so like the weird thing is, I feel like if I There we go. That should make the frame rate a little bit better for this. And see how that turns out. Oh yeah, I did try the heated chamber with this. The results were not so great. I'll show you this clip here of this box. This is going to be a dust box for my quail, where they can do their bathing in their sand. And as you can probably see, it started off quite well. This was with polycarbonate ABS, but at some point it did start to warp. You can see like little cracks inside of this basket, especially like on the inside, it's easier to see. So it looked like it's separated in about 3 different places. And before that, I also tried to, oh, it's changing. Tool head's changing. Hold on. You guys can see that. It's not frozen, is it? Oh, no. See, I think the camera feed might be frozen. Yeah, I think the camera feed might be frozen from the slicer. Let me go back. Well, it did change the tool head. That much I can confirm. You can see it a little bit better. Look, I understand the aesthetics of having these smoky black doors on these printers and the smoky black domes for the lids, but you can't see too good on the inside when you make it smoky like that. So if we can just have some clear acrylic lids and some clear doors so that we can clearly look in, that would be great. Why does it freeze every time it's changing the tool head? I want you guys to see that. Every time it's about to change the tool head, the scene freezes. You guys are making me look bad. It's like I'm not trying to hide anything. Ugh. 67% complete. Yeah, whether it's clear glass or clear acrylic, you know, just make it clear so that we can see. Because I can't see too well. I can see the Grand Theft Auto, like it's written the letters on it. But that's all right. We're 72% complete. It'll be done soon. I'll show you a nice little close-up of it when it is finished. Here we go. There it is. All right, you were able to see that part. All right, so while I sit here and wait, let me see if there's some other features about this that I failed to mention. Let's see. So I think I said before, the chamber gets up to 60 degrees Celsius. The bed goes up to 100 degrees Celsius. I think the Creator 5 is like 110, 65 and 110. Let's see here. They say that you can print TPU with this. I haven't tried TPU, but it is possible. Power loss recovery. There's also a mobile app if you want to download the mobile app. You can do that. I have not downloaded the mobile app. And I'm just looking on the wiki right now, and the wiki has some troubleshooting stuff for like hot end clog solutions, um, installation guides, replacement guides. Since the printer is like not actually like for sale, there's no replacement parts for it. So if you want to get more nozzles, there's nothing that you can get right now, at least not officially that I've seen. But hopefully they can get to that quickly. All right. I think we're done. Yep. We are done. All right, let's switch back. Boom. All right. 65 and 120. I think I said 110. Thank you for correcting me. I haven't tried TPU on the Creator 5 Pro. No, but I did try Peba on the regular Creator 5. I did try that, and I had successful prints with that. And that's also, I think I did a video about that as well. Yes, don't know the price yet. Don't know. One thing you do kind of want to be a little bit careful with is when the print is done, what I like to do is like tap in the corner, because you could easily tap reprint on accident. If you're not paying attention, this doesn't have like object detection or spaghetti detection, so it doesn't know. So like it will continue to try to print it again, and if there's something already on the build plate, you could damage something if it tries to continue to print when there's something already on there. So just so you're aware. All right, let's take this off. Well, looks like the pink filament that I used did not turn out all that great. I guess because it's, I think this is a matte filament. No, this is a light pink, so it did not, the pink isn't as pronounced as I want it to be. But that's okay. I'm still going to show you, see what this looks like. So, this part is supposed to be pink, but instead it just looks kind of white. I should probably redo this. I do have another pink that's like a hotter pink. Maybe that'll get the job done. There's the back. Your first layerness. The hole right there is, it's a keychain, so that hole's supposed to be there. But yeah. GTA! All right. Let me get this prime tower off of here as well. Where's my snips? Here it is. All right, let me put this back. The door is nice and stiff. I do like that. Feels more absolute. All right, so I'll try that GTA thing and another time. I want to do this test pyramid as well. This is just going to do all 4 colors in like this pyramid shape or pyramid color. The colors don't matter, you know, for this. So I'm just going to assign it random colors. Actually, since that was white, I'll just make that white. And this one will be this pinkish color. And this one will be, I guess, brown. Yeah. All right, so we're just going to do this. Red instead of pink. Well, you know, this is like that Vice City vibe. So I feel like it has to be a hot pink. But, you know, the red definitely would have shown up a lot better. Let's see. What shore hardness was the Pebble? The Pebble was, I think it was 90A. I think the Pebble was 90A. What's the standout, if any, that makes this better than the Snapmaker or Flash Forge? I would say, compared to Flash Forge, I would say the size. Really, actually, both of them. I would say the size of this printer is bigger. This one has a heated chamber where the Snapmaker does not. And compared to the Creator 5, this one has more open software. If that's something that you care about, then you know, that's probably a bigger deal to you, since FlashForge is more of a walled garden. Gonna wait for the Sobel MD1 for your first tool changer. Printer looks sick as long as they take their time and get it right. I'm looking forward to that as well. You've done two-color TPU with PLA supports. All right. You look like a 5-year-old next to it. I don't get it. Me? I don't know. But we're starting to back up again with this pyramid, and it's doing its leveling. It didn't have to heat up the bed all that much because the bed was already pretty hot to begin with. So it's doing its thing. But as I kind of look at this Grand Theft Auto print, if I can imagine this pink being, you know, more pronounced and being more prominent, I mean, it looks all right to me. I definitely do think it could be smoother. It can definitely be smoother. You know, when I first started printing with this and I did like a test benchy, the benchy did not turn out all that great. It was like this one had a lot of what I believe to be cooling issues around here. But I also think it was because the calibrations didn't take the first time because I had to turn the printer off. So I did the print again after I was able to recalibrate everything, and I printed the second benchy. All this will be in the video that I'm going to release. And that benchy turned out looking better than the original one, but still had a little bit of roughness on the hull, which again, I think might be which might be a cooling issue. Because it's already pretty warm in here right now. It's probably like it's probably like 85 degrees here right now. All right, here we go. Let me switch it over. This pyramid is probably going to take maybe about 20 minutes. Here we go. Can you make custom profiles, or does the printer only work with the presets? I've heard it has issues if you don't use generic or FlashForge profiles, or you're talking to someone else. Okay. Well, if you wanted my opinion of it, even though you didn't ask, every time I print it with PLA on the FlashForge Creator 5, if I didn't use FlashForge filament, which most of the time I did not, I chose the generic PLA profile. or if it was high-speed PLA, I chose the generic high-speed PLA profile, and I didn't have an issue with it. So, I mean, most of the time, I just use generic profiles for darn near everything, and stuff ends up turning out being just fine. Sometimes you have to, adjust things a little bit occasionally, but normally I don't have to, especially with my polycarbonate ABS. It didn't take so well in the WonderMaker, but whenever I printed it on the Creator 5, it handled, it's frozen again. It handled it great. I don't know why it does that. Here we go. Go, Pyramid, go! Let's use adaptive meshing or CAMP. On this firmware that I'm running right now, no. But I think that it is on a newer firmware. Let me see, WonderMaker Wiki. Because I tried to install the latest firmware on this, but I could not do it. It just got up to 99% and it would like freeze. But on version 1.0.71, the notes say improved bed leveling, adaptive leveling can be unchecked before printing. So apparently they've added adaptive leveling in one of the latest firmwares. I just can't download it. Another thing I will say is that if you're printing in a hotter environment like I am, and since I have the lid on and I have the door closed, the auxiliary fan is supposed to help it so that your PLA will still be fine even though the chamber is cool or the chamber is closed. But I would still be careful in letting things cool down properly before you take it off the build plate if you are printing something that's kind of thin and kind of pliable, because all that extra heat can still make the PLA bend a little bit. So try not to be really impatient in taking the print off of the build plate when you're dealing with so much ambient heat, just to give it a little bit better of a chance, not bending out of shape. And along with this printer, I guess depending on what you chose when you backed it, they might give you different like add-ons that you might have paid for. But when they sent this to me, it came with 4 rolls of like 100 gram spools of filament. So it came with 4 of those. Of course, all the tools that you need. It came with a glue stick, one of those metal scrapers that I never use. Some like lubrication. It was a pretty decent package of goodies that they give. It also looks like the back of this printer is slightly dented. Uh-oh. Oh well, just a little dent, no big deal. All right, we're 28% done. And so it does this thing. If anyone did not see some of the prints that I've already made on this particular printer, I'm going to just show those again right now, just in case you have not seen it. This is the one that did not do so well. PC ABS in the heated chamber that eventually warped and cracked in a few different places. But other than that, the surface finish looked fine for my dust box. Here's a look at the Spider-Man, black suit Spider-Man. Only 2 colors. This was done in, I think, maybe about 5 different pieces. And next is the HueForge, Goku and Frieza, using 4 filaments. Really like how those colors mix together, you know? Because this looks like there's orange in it, but there was no orange. I think it was just red, white, yellow, and black. That's what I really love about HueForge, you know? It really brings out some good colors. Just look at some of those benchies. From this angle, when you're looking at the benchies, it's like, okay, well, they look okay. So you look at the hole near the bottom, you see how it gets a little bit weird near the bottom of the hole. One of them is worse than the other. One is pre-calibration. The other one is post-calibration, but still not perfect. So damns the benchies. And then last but not least, Scrappy Doo. There's Scrappy. Darker than he should be, but Scrappy nonetheless. Head was done in 2 pieces. That would explain the seam on the back. And his head was all 1 piece with 4 colors. So I don't think Scrappy came out bad at all. Scrappy looks all right. All right, so that's just a look at some of the things that I've printed on here so far. Let's go back. Oops, nope, nope, nope. I'm hitting buttons. Let's go back to this here. It just switched over to the next filament so we can get the next color on this pyramid. Yep, 400 grams of filament all together. I can grab at least a couple of them. I used some of them. Oh, well, I got all 4 of them right here. Okay. All right, let's switch back to the main cam. Boom. All right, this is what it came with. These little filaments right here. So I had black and like a baby blue, WonderMaker branded, red and green. So on the red and the green, they have the printing temperature between 190 and 230. And on the black, the temperature is 200 to 220. The rest are 190 to 230. Yeah. Don't know why. Yep, it came with all 4 of these, which I'm always grateful for. Filament that comes with the printer, especially if that filament is not just those unspooled strands that you don't even want to use because I feel like it's going to get tangled immediately. I'm glad they put some spool around it. Put some spool on me, baby. I'm really hoping that when they do finally decide to put a price on this printer, that they can make that price as competitive as possible, since the Creator 5 costs what, like is it like 850 or something like that? If this printer starts selling for like $1,000, I don't think it's going to work out in its favor. They need to be super competitive with this. It's really hard to undercut FlashForge. Just, you know, they've been around for longer. They can take bigger hits. I'm sure that they've got more money, but you gotta stay competitive. So hopefully WonderMaker will not price themselves out of the market. And even if they do have to, you know, not be as competitive with the pricing, they have to make up for that through some other means, whether that's just impeccable customer service or a really, really, how can I put this? They have to really listen to community feedback and implement changes that people want to see done as far as software and stuff goes. They really have to try to be your best friend. That's how Prusa's been getting by. They getting by on that goodwill, because Lord knows that hardware is not worth what they charge for it. I mean, it still seems good, but I mean, come on. I think it's fair to say that they charge a lot for what they offer. But people are willing to pay it because they love the company. Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2 is 449, is basically the same machine. The same machine compared to what? There's our beautiful pyramid coming together. And it's like the only company that makes printers in the West. Yeah, that's another thing they got going for it. You know, which I totally get. You know, if you could support a company, especially if that company is, you know, in your own home country and you want to support that business, it helps out the local community. I mean, that would be great. I wish that we had some good, competitive, priced accordingly 3D printing manufacturers based in the United States. Because, I mean, dude, most people don't want to spend $2,000 on a printer that seems like it came out 3 years ago just because it was made in the USA. Don't mean nothing to me. Everybody's got a budget. I got to go with whoever gives me the most bang for my buck. And I don't care where you happen to live on the planet. If your product is good, then I want to buy it. If your product is too expensive, but still good, I'm not going to buy it. You need to figure out a way to be more competitive. All right, so now it's working on the light pink layer. $1,000 would be a stretch. They need some serious bells and whistles and supports. Yep. And since, I mean, this printer, and I really, oh God, is it frozen again? Yeah, it's frozen again. I hope it wasn't like that for long. I apologize. I'm just going to take this off. So it wants to continue to do that. All right, are we good? Let me try to refresh. I think we might be good now. I had something to say. All right. Yeah, the camera froze. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, so what I was going to say was that this printer already does not have the types of bells and whistles that you would expect from $1,000 printer. I don't know if this printer is $1,000. Let's just say hypothetically it is. Let's just say that it is. in 2026 because it lacks the object detection, it lacks the spaghetti detection, it lacks all of those types of features that can save you from a whole bunch of wasted filament because your print failed, or save your machine from damaging itself because something went wrong. You know, all of these different, you can call it like AI safety features or whatever, but this printer does not have it. So like it's got the tool changer, which is the most modern part. So they managed to get that done. But then all of the other things that we've been kind of getting used to over the years, this printer does not have. Maybe that could be thrown in there with software, maybe, but it's not what it launched with. So with that being said, then they definitely have to make up for that in other areas. Because even the Anycubic Cobra 4, which is like, when it was on AliExpress, you could have gotten it for like $200. I mean, even that had different, had like object detection on it. You know, it's a much bigger company, but you know, the point still stands. All right, we're almost done here. And so throughout the course of me trying this, I'm going to try to do like, oh yeah, here's another thing that it kind of sucks that this slicer or this printer profile doesn't let you do. I'm going to move away from the camera for a second. So you see here, over on the side for the filament, you've got 4, right? You got your 4 filaments, but there's no option to add a 5th or a 6th or a 7th or whatever filament. You're literally stuck with these 4 filaments here. And if you get like a 3MF file, say from like Maker World or something, and it is of a print that has more than 4 colors, when you import it into whether it's this slicer, the WonderMaker Orca, or regular Orca slicer with a WonderMaker ZR Ultra S profile, it will eliminate those additional filament colors to make it 4 colors again. So that means you either have to paint the model yourself again, or you'll just have to, if it's in pieces or whatever, you'll just have to print whatever pieces that you want and then like close it and then open it again. And I don't know why it doesn't let you just choose more filaments. And the other thing about this is there's no sync option. So you can't sync the filament that is in the printer back to the slicer. So if you want to have a multicolored print that's going to actually be the colors that you want it to be, you have to make sure that the colors of your printer match exactly the position that the colors are here in the slicer. Because this slicer and Orca slicer with this profile thinks that 1 means toolhead 1, 2 means toolhead 2, 3 is toolhead 3, and 4 is toolhead 4. So if you slice something and you just send it, if you've got white filament, if you had, let's say this is red, if you had red filament on the first tool head, it's going to think that red is on the 4th tool head. So that automatically messes up your entire print. So you either have to make sure that the order here matches exactly what's on the printer, which means you get the order on the slicer first, then you change it on your printer, or you have to manually go to the printer, and when you start the print, you choose exactly where those filament slots are. So this basically means that you have to physically do things with the printer in person when you're printing in multiple colors or multiple materials to make sure that the tool heads are being used properly. Does that even work in Flash Studio yet? Yes, it does. In the update before the last update, they added syncing to Flash Studio. So your filaments now sync. I hear that with the latest update to Flash Studio, I hear it's really, really buggy. I haven't tried it, but people are just giving all kinds of problems. Like their printer itself, for some reason, is not working properly because of that slicer. So they rolled it back to the previous version of the slicer, and now everything is fine again. So hold off on updating your Flash Studio if you have a Creator 5. Okay, we're done. And Flash Studio also let you choose your filament order when you uploaded the print. It would just show you what was on your printer. Then you'd be like, okay, yeah, 1 is red, 2 is pink, 3 is purple, and then everything will be fine. All right, let's take a look at this. I know I said that you should wait for this to cool. Actually, let me just put this by my fan for a second. Just kind of cool it down a little bit here. All right, there's our pyramid. Bringing it up close so you can see the pyramid. All right, let me kind of sandwich it. All right, so there's our 4-color pyramid. Hey, this doesn't look too bad. I like it. That's one side. It's the other side. It's the other side. I believe that will be 4. There's the bottom. Oh, geez, almost pierced myself with the top of this. It's pretty sharp. It's not bad, I don't think. Oh boy, that fan is going. It is hot in here, like I said. But I'm gonna put this build plate back in here. It's like I start sweating the moment I leave the comfort of my fan. Boom. While I'm here, I'll just take a look at some settings real quick. Let's see, other functions in the settings. Go back. Yeah, so you can turn the extruder light on and off. You can turn the air filter on and off. You can turn the auxiliary fan on and off in the camera. You can also enable the time lapse here from the menu, export log files, firmware update, which again, over the air firmware updates are not working. You can change the nozzle type. You can do the setup for the extruders, different calibrations, blah, 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 blah. Restore factory settings. I don't know what AP mode means, but yeah. And then you got all the access to all the time lapses right here. Put a SD or USB stick in there. Transfer everything over. Whew. It is hot. All right, what do we got here? You pre-order the Cobra X, got nothing extra. Pre-order Creator 5 Pro, got 2 1 kilogram rolls of PLA, Ice Blue and Luminous Melody. Those are some pretty cool sounding colors. That is awesome. Let me go back to stream here. Catch up on the comments because I am about to wrap it up in a minute. They pulled Flash Studio 12 and went back to 11. That's good. I mean, see, and that's God, and that's just kind of the thing with Flash Forge, right? It's like, did you not see the problems that version was giving? Did you not test it? You know, it's just like the filament being sucked into the chamber fan. Like you didn't know that before selling the printer? That never happened, and no one ever thought, hey, maybe having the filament purged to the floor of the printer is not the best idea. Maybe we should come up with a way to design around that. Did it really take all of this for someone to go, oh, okay, maybe we should change it? Do you have any pies? Listen, do you have any possible file of Flash Studio 1.77x64 at all? They removed it. No CMYK tests at all. I'm not sure if I still have that. That is kind of messed up how they did introduce the color mixing and then in the next update it was gone. The user interface with that wasn't so great. So, you know, I kind of get it, but at the same time, kind of sucks to introduce it and then take it away. Again, like who's paying attention? Come on, FlashForge. I wanted to show you guys something. Oh my God, that hurt my back. I want to show you guys something real quick. Since we're talking about FlashForge, they do have an official poop bucket for their printers. Now it purges in the back. Here is a look at the official purge bucket for the FlashForge Creator 5/Creator 5 Pro that you can find on their wiki page. And if you do download it from the wiki page, make sure that you download the step file and not the G-code file, because the G-code file is made for PLA. And if you're going to put this in the Creator 5 Pro and you're going to be printing with high temp materials, you don't want a poop bucket made out of PLA. You want it to be made of something that can withstand heat better. So if you download the step file and throw that in the slicer, you'll be able to make the appropriate changes to it. This was made in Polymaker's HT PLA. I put some aluminum foil in here just so that the filament wouldn't stick all that much. So this is the big old bucket. And then here's the second part. This part goes on the inside of the printer near the back. They say put double-sided tape on the back of it. I guess you can if you want it to really stay there. But I don't have double-sided tape on there and it seems to be holding up just fine. And basically this just rests inside of this little groove. Is going to fall off because, you know, it doesn't work when it's handheld, but when this is affixed to the printer, it just hangs on it like this. And the purge goes right into the bucket. There's still no place to use a nozzle wiper because the nozzle wiper is in the front and it's not being used anymore. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, but the official poop bucket from FlashForge. Get yours today. Anyway, this was the WonderMaker ZR Ultra S, and I suspect you're going to be seeing more about this printer in the coming weeks, and some other content creators that got their hands on this, including like the regular ZR version, Ultra, not the one with the heated chamber and all that stuff, but like the regular open version. So, you know, if that's different in any way, you know, they'll be able to let you know. I do not think that I will, I'm not getting that one. I'm pretty sure I'm not. You'll try that poop box. Yeah, go ahead and give it a try. I mean, and it doesn't take a whole lot of filament and it doesn't take a long time to print. I think this box printed in maybe around like 2.5 hours or so. And it wasn't bad. It was very easy to put together. It only needed supports for like this little lip right here. So it kind of sucks because you have to make that large tree support just to connect to this bottom lip here. But you know, it's fine. I use that opportunity to have PETG as a support interface for this little lip under here. And of course, that just made it just popped right off. It would have popped off easily just with PLA because there's not a whole lot of area to contact. But that's the benefit of having the tool changer. You can just do stuff like that and just make it easy just because. So yeah, it's just print it straight up. I think when it's imported like down like this, and it wants to make supports all on the inside. That's not necessary. Just print it flat like this so it can print straight up. All right, you don't have to deal with removing supports from the inside. And then this part right here, it just needed a little bit of support for like right under here just print it flat, just like this. It had a little bit of support right there. And that was it. Yep, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of supports. None of the poops work great. Yeah, we'll see. I had been using this little small one that the next layer created for for as long as I had the printer, and it got the job done. But you know, it was so small, you had to make sure that you change or throw away the filament every single time. Otherwise, more filament will pile on top, and eventually it'll get to the nozzle, and that's never a good thing. But with this, it's much deeper, so you can go longer without having to change it. So anyway, yeah, like I said, you're going to be seeing more people make videos about this printer and the non-enclosed version. I've seen some folks that got their hands on it, so I don't know when their stuff is going to be coming out, but yeah, they should be saying something. And I'm going to continue to use this. Like I said, I have a video about this coming out tomorrow, I believe. And then I will also do another one comparing this more directly to the Creator 5 Pro, just kind of going over some pros and cons between the two of them. And yeah, I think that's about it. So if anybody has any other, questions about this, I will try to answer them. But if not, I will bid you adieu. My best friend tells me that Coheed and Cambria is touring with Shinedown. If that doesn't sound like the 2010s, I don't know what does. Creator 5 was slow until I changed the speed / small perimeters to 50%, and it was set to 30, not 30%. Huh. Yeah, I saw something else that someone posted on Reddit about this one little feature that you could change if like the whole of your benchy was looking kind of like weird. And they changed one setting on there. They said it was on by default, but when I looked at the slicer, the setting was off. I'm trying to see if I can find that. Yeah, so in the Flash Studio, there's this option under speed for slow down for curled perimeters. And apparently when this person turned that option off, they were able to get like a smoother surface for, I guess, curved perimeters. But when it was on, it was looking kind of rough. So I don't know if anyone has a problem with stuff like that, try to turn off slow down for curled perimeters and maybe it will work for you. But when I looked at it, the setting was already off, so I don't know what's going on with that. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I am going to leave the live stream up, so you'll be able to look at it, at your leisure, or anyone else who might want to look at it in the future. And I will come back with some more stuff about this printer when it is appropriate, with a full review coming eventually. All right. So thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate you. And I will talk to you soon.